Hello, this is going to be my first attempt at a Promethean tutorial. For this first one, I'm just going to go over some basics. So what I want to show you on here is how to go about creating a flip chart with just some basic skills that you would need to have. So the first thing you want to do whenever you're creating something, you want to make sure that you go in here and edit, and you want to be in design mode. So when you click on that, there's a little check mark there. The second thing you want to do is you want to have your browsers visible. This is for when you're creating. That's going to be where all your tools, everything that you need to see is going to be right there at your fingertips. So you come under View. You see right there, View. And you come down to Browser. See how there's no check mark by it? You want to click on it. And if you went back into View, then you would see that there's a check mark by the browsers. So that's exactly what you want. See if I can move this little recording thing out the way. I'll put it over here. Okay. Now that you have your browsers open, here are the different types of browsers. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kinds of browsers. The one that we're in right now is a page browser. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to see all the different pages you're creating, just very similar to a PowerPoint, where you can go to any page at a glance or rearrange the order or what have you. What I like to do at this point is I like to go into the Properties browser. If you see how you hover over it, it'll show you what each one is. Page browser, Resource browser, Object browser, Notes browser, Property browser, Action browser, and Voting browser. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the Property browser, and I'm going to click that. This is going to give me all the properties for this page. I don't like working on a plain old white background, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick out a color. I'm going to go in, it says background right here, has 3 little dots. So I'm going to open that up, and I have 2 different colors here. I'm going to go ahead and do fill. I'm going to select this box here, and I'm going to pick a nice neutral, maybe a gray. And if you leave it like that, it's going to mix in the white and the gray and make like a gradient. If you want it to be solid, click on the top one and make it gray as well, and then it's just one solid color. And then you can click OK, and as you can see, now I have a gray background. Now that you have that set, you can also come in here. Let's see if it's on here. It's not on this part, and that's okay. But now that you have the gray background set, you can come back over to the Property browser, and now you see how you have one gray page. What I like to do at this point, instead of trying to set the color for every one, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate maybe 5 or 6 pages and have those ready to go whenever I start creating. So I'm going to come in here, and you see how it has this little square in the corner. I'm going to click on that, and it opens up all these options. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate. Now I have 2 pages. Now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to maybe get 5 pages so that I have enough and I don't have to keep recreating it. At this point, I would probably want to go ahead. See how up here it says Untitled? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save my flip chart and name it something. So I'm going to save as. Maybe I'm going to find exactly, it's under a flip charts folder, and that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and name it Basic Tutorial. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. Oops, okay, so hold tight. Yes. Okay, so there we go. All right, now I'm in the owner folder. Okay, so I think instead of saving it there as type, I'm going to save it under my documents. I'm going to go someplace where I want it, and I'm going to make a new folder. Okay, now I have the spot I want to save it, and I'm going to go ahead and save it. So that's how I get started. Now I'm ready to go as far as starting to create my flip chart. And you can always go to Promethean Planet and get ready-made flip charts. I like to go ahead and create my own at first just so that I can learn the program, because sometimes you'll need to make your own because nothing will quite fit exactly the way you want it to. So it's good to know, and it's good to kind of do just for the sake of learning how to make them, learning how to use everything that's available to you. So now that I want to make sure that I'm selected on the very first page. Here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter some text. Here's all your tools right here. This is your toolbox. And your text tool is right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on text. And then everything can be manipulated and moved around. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. Now I'm going to look. Now that it's here ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and check my settings up here. I'm going to go ahead and make this maybe 26. I don't think you really want to go smaller than 24 because it's going to display in front of the class and you want everybody in the class to be able to see it more clearly. I'm also going to make it bold since it's my title, and then I'm going to type. Okay, and now that I have that typed in, that's my title, I can click on this little reposition box right here and I can move this wherever I want. So I'm going to move it about right there. Okay? And then I would start just entering all the text I want. So now that this is here, I don't really want, I could add to this and hit enter and add all the text I want, but so that I can move everything exactly where I want it, I'm going to start a new text box, and you can see that the tool is still selected, and I'm just going to come over here so I can start typing whatever it is I want to type. The next thing I want to show you is how to use the revealer tool. You come in, and I have some text that's entered here, and what you want to do is you want to go back on the property browser, which is this little tab right here. You can see as you hover over it, it should say property browser. But if you don't believe me, just click on it if it doesn't do it when you hover over it, and you'll see it right there, property browser. There it is. Okay, so what the revealer tool is a way to cover up your notes if you want to reveal just one thing at a time to help your students focus on what they're looking at. So under the property browser, you would come in and you see this little plus here by tools. You would open that up, and right here it says page tools. You want to open that up and you want to select revealer tool, and then it's covered up. Now let's say you want to at least start with the title showing. This isn't exactly where you want to position it, so all you're going to do is you're going to see how it has this little almost like a shade pull down little symbol. You want to just left click and slide it down to the position you want it in. Let me move this out the way, and then it has this little box in the corner. You would open that up and you would say save revealer position, and that's all there is to it. So then whenever you go to teach a lesson for a class, you can pull it down just one line at a time so that they can either take notes or they can focus on just what you want them to focus on. Okay? And it's that simple. Now here is one thing that I wanted to kind of show you to be aware of. I'm going to go back over here to the page browser, which is this one right here. I'm going to click on that. I can see it here, but if I go and I navigate to the next page, I've got the revealer tool here again. Perhaps I don't want the revealer tool on here. It's always going to have the tools set to whatever the page was before. That is the default. So what you have to do is you have to come back into the property browser, go back down to tools, and see how it says as before. You're going to change that to tools off. Okay? And then you automatically have that one off, and you can go in and set it just as you like it. All right, and that's all there is to the revealer tool.